Hey everyone, hope everyone has been well. I decided to go ahead and do a little tribute video to my Toybiz shelves because I decided to go ahead and take this down. I actually decided I wanted to preserve these figures, take them down, put them in bags, and keep them in storage and, for preservation purposes. I love the Toybiz era, and I decided to go ahead and take this down and display more of the, newer figures that are out now and kind of have more of a smaller display. I don't really like having too much on display because it all gets dusty and it takes a lot more to go ahead and dust it down. So I'm gonna be taking this shelf down, or not these shelves, but the figures on the shelves, of course, and putting something else up here. So before I did that, I thought I'd just go ahead and share this one last time. We'll just go ahead and get into it right here. Here we have the Toybiz Avengers, and this is in no way like a display of my entire Toybiz collection. I actually have quite an extensive Toybiz collection. Just about any figure you can think of, I probably have it. This is just more of a controlled display, showcasing each character at least one time, at most one time I should try to do. The Toybiz era is something that is very near and dear to my heart. Not only is it, where the collection started, but there's a certain grace and there's a certain magic that the Toybiz figures capture that, in my opinion, the Hasbro figures will never be able to touch. Hasbro figures, to me, the Toybiz figures are kind of like a stick shift car, whereas the Hasbro figures are a more modern electric car. You have even if it's not necessarily an electric car, you have a car that has a lot of electrical components in it. It has a rear view mirror. It's got the button that you push to turn the car on, and it's in every single way more advanced and cleaner and just better overall is what the Hasbro figures are. The Toybiz figures are that stick shift car that, although it may not be as technologically advanced as the newer cars are, there's just something about that stick shift, about, getting behind the wheel of a stick shift car, pulling the gear back, feeling the gears in the car turning, and just get that guttural, dirty, that aggressive feeling of ingenuity vibrating underneath your feet in that car. For anybody who has a passion for stick shift driving cars, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's more or less of how I feel about the Toybiz figures. So again, this is not my entire Toybiz collection. It's just rather a representation of each character right about one time, and I guess we'll go through them briefly. So first of all, the best 1/12/6" Spider-Man action figure ever produced. Fight me. But this is my absolute favorite 6" Marvel Legend or 6" scale Spider-Man figure, period. I absolutely love this figure. I think it's, in my opinion, the best ever made. I do not own the new upcoming retro Spider-Man figure just yet. I do have him on pre-order, but judging from the reviews that I've seen, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed with how that figure looks like it's coming out. I think they tried too hard, and the lack of waist swivel and the terrible neck joint just put it far lower on my list. But this, in my opinion, is the greatest Spider-Man figure ever made in a 6" scale. I love it. I love the style. I love the articulation. I love the paint. I love everything about this figure. You might have a different figure, but for me personally, this one just fucking nails it, man. But yeah, I love this figure very, very much. Moving on. Series 4 Punisher, Face-Off Series Daredevil, Elektra, Ant-Man. And oh god, so yeah. So I forgot what I used it for, but I had used the hair for something. I forgot what I took the hair off. I used hot glue, a hair dryer on it, and I removed her hair and put it on another figure. And then I undid that figure, put her hair back on, and used super glue. And the super glue ended up drying very, very white, and it just looks awful. It looks like something else, man. But Series 8 Black Widow was actually a phenomenal figure for its time. An amazing female body, perfect articulation, you know, very, very nice figure. I got the old classic Series 5 Nick Fury, the Toybiz era. Well, this is Series, I'm gonna say this is Series 7. Series 7 Hawkeye, maybe Series 8. One of my favorite Thor figures is a Series 3 figure. Series 3 Thor, I think it's an absolute beautiful figure. Love this thing very, very much. Ooh, and then of course the face-off Captain America. Oh, you youngsters, you youngins, you just don't even know. You know, you newcomers just don't even know what this figure meant to us. This was one of the absolute gems in Marvel Legends collecting. I do think the 80th anniversary one is the superior Captain America now, but like I said, you know, there's just a certain grace to these figures that only Toybiz could have touched. I think these figures are just beautiful. Now, I've gone back and forth. When it came to the Toybiz era, I had gone back and forth with what my favorite Hulk would be. And I had, you know, a bit on the fence whether it be the face-off Hulk. And there was a variant to this one as well, one with a closed mouth. But I had been trying to decide of whether or not this was going to be my favorite Hulk figure. But I also loved the Hulk Classics Gamma Punch Hulk. And then back in these days, a lot of us were also using the Marvel Select Hulk. And then another one of my favorite Hulks was actually, believe it or not, the 2-pack Hulk that came with the Valkyrie. And I think that's still a very good figure. Oh man, Modern Iron Man. This is Series 8 Modern Iron Man. The faceplate is actually removable. It comes with a Tony Stark head sculpt, which was, you know, very impressive for its time. I still think this is a beautiful figure. We have the Vision. I can't remember what series that's in. Now, Toybiz will always have a special place in my heart, but they were not without their misses. And ladies and gentlemen, here is one of their biggest misses of all time. Holy shit! This was one of the worst figures that was ever made in Marvel Legends history, and it happens to be a Toybiz figure. The head sculpt is horrendous, even back then, you know. But hey, what can I say? I still love the figure. It takes me back to those times. Now this was a beautiful figure. The Marvel Legends, the original Toybiz Marvel Legends Black Panther figure was absolutely phenomenal. I think this was a masterpiece. It was a beautiful figure. Still is a beautiful figure. And here's the thing about it, you guys. There was a naive confidence into going into the Toybiz figures that allowed them to take liberties and make bold moves. And here we have, this is kind of like a Jim Lee 90s X-Men, featuring the brown suit Wolverine and the old Toybiz Classics, X-Men Classics Toybiz Cyclops. Now I switch this one from time to time. I'll sometimes switch this out for the Sentinel series Cyclops, which is the classic series, and it goes well with this, you know, this look for the X-Men. This Beast figure also was another one of the masterpieces. This was one of the more loved figures. It had amazing articulation, an amazing head sculpt, and I think this is actually one of the figures that still goes head to head with one of the newer Hasbro releases. Another one of those figures. You see, now there are some figures in the Toybiz collection that, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people will back me up on this, sometimes the Toybiz figures trump the Hasbro figures. And I think a perfect example is this guy right here. The Marvel Legends Sentinel series Nightcrawler was one of the best Marvel Legends ever made. It absolutely eclipsed every other figure when it came to articulation. It was inventive. It broke the boundaries for what articulation could be in a figure. And I don't quite think that the newer Hasbro Nightcrawler is quite up there, although I love the new Hasbro figure. I still think this one is the superior Nightcrawler, although I keep it with the Toybiz shelf and not on the main shelf, because the main shelf that I have is for the more updated figures, you know. And then we had the Professor X that came in the Galactus series, which, by the way, was the very first Build-A-Figure of all time when it came to Marvel Legends. I would love for Hasbro to do the Cable in this outfit. This is the outfit from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It was kind of a suit that he wore in the 90s, and it was my introduction into Cable, so I'd love for Hasbro to go ahead and, you know, do Cable in that suit. Another one of the major misses was that head sculpt on Rogue. The jacket on mine fell apart and just completely collapsed, so I no longer have it with that one. And then got the Falcon. I got the variant Falcon, which is in my opinion the more superior Falcon, on the main shelf. And all these characters: Warbird, Captain Marvel, Wonder Man. Okay, now this guy is he's not a Toybiz figure. He's actually a Hasbro figure. Technically a Toybiz. He's using a Toybiz body sculpt, which is the Bullseye head body sculpt. This guy right here, this body was used again and again and again, in a very good way, I think. But I have him here with the Toybiz. Sentry. Beautiful figure. I love the paint. I just love the color of the paint on that figure very much. Got the Fantastic Four right here. I got all 4 of them. Toybiz actually released a variant Invisible Woman that you actually see right there. Of course you can't see her because I am kidding. We got Namor. I have his spear somewhere. And this is also a very, very nice figure. I have no doubt we'll see the newer Wolverine buck that's on the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure body using this paint job. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. It's just a very simple paint job. Moving on. Now right here, this is a very special little display for me. This is the trifecta of the birth of Marvel Legends for me. These 3 figures represent the birth of Marvel Legends, with this right here being the Spider-Man from the Spider-Man Classics line. Series 1, the Classic Spider-Man, which is the line that ended up giving birth to Marvel Legends, because before there was Marvel Legends, there was a line called Spider-Man Classics that featured this figure in Series 1 along with other Spider-Man related characters. And then a few years after that, Marvel Legends released Series 1, which I have represented with these 2 figures here, but, you know, Captain America was my favorite of that first wave. And then this was Series 1 Hulk. This was the very first Marvel Legends Hulk ever produced, and I absolutely love it. I think, like I said, you know, it's clearly out of date by today's standards, but there's just a certain nastiness and just, you know, grit to this Hulk that the newer, more polished, you know, clean Hasbro figures can never get. This is stick shift, guys. This is a stick shift car that you will never abandon. So yeah, this was Series 1 Marvel Legends Captain America, Series 1 Spider-Man Classic Spider-Man, and then this right here was the reason this one's representing the birth of Marvel Legends for me, the Wolverine, is because this here, guys, was the very first Marvel Legend I ever owned. This was my very first purchase. I bought it on eBay, and it was a beautiful figure, and I still to this day absolutely love it. I think it really holds up in a current display, and it's actually a Toybiz figure. Of course, most of you know that it's utilizing this body, the brown suit Wolverine that came out in Toybiz Series 6. And then Hasbro took over and just reused his body in the Red Hulk Target exclusive Build-A-Figure series. And I love this figure very, very much. It was my first Marvel Legend. I will never sell him. And if I do, it'll be after I sell everything else. Here we go. Got the Toybiz Green Goblin, soon to be replaced by the new retro one. Not on this shelf, of course. The new retro one is going on the main shelf. But this is still a beautiful Green Goblin. Bullseye was one of the greatest Marvel Legends made for its time. This body was used again and again and again, and it was used for a long time, until quite recently, actually. I can't remember the last time I saw this body, but, you know, the big time letdown Spider-Man that shot him his prime made so famous, you know, it uses this body to a degree, or at least the same style. Well, let's move on. You know, we got Sandman right there, the Kingpin, Baron Zemo, Taskmaster, which is a very impressive figure for its time. The Red Skull, beautiful figure. One of the best Loki figures that even to this day exists. I think this is, objectively speaking, the best Marvel Legends Loki ever made, even to today's standard. The leader, very classic looking leader. I think the new one that came out is very, very nice. There's just always something very nostalgic about this style that I will never ever pass up on, though. Beautiful, beautiful figure. Now, for those of you who don't know, this was one of the most sought after figures in Marvel Legends Toybiz history. The Series 6 Toybiz Deadpool. Highly voted as one of the best Marvel Legends ever made. Definitely one of the rarest. I very much remember this figure going for close to about $300 in the package. And if you wanted him loose, you'd pay about $150 for him loose. I managed to get him early. I paid $60 for this guy. Nowadays, he's depreciated in value because you got the new ones that are out. And here we go, the old school Magneto with the helmets that remove. Anybody else like miss removable helmets? And on top of that, anybody else like miss articulated fingers? A part of me does. A part of me kind of misses the simplicity of being able to remove a helmet and put it back on and move the fingers as you so please. I know, you know, interchangeable hands, they have a much more of an aesthetic appeal when it comes to photos. They look a lot better, you know? But there was just something about the simplicity of being able to just move the hands as you please. And of course nowadays we have to deal with, I don't know about you guys, but I have bags and bags full of interchangeable parts, heads, hands, you know, all these things that I have to now make room for, whereas before you didn't have to. But I don't know, that was just one thing I kind of miss. And the hits just keep on coming, you guys. So I remember way back in the day, this was actually voted as the top Marvel Legend figure ever made. At least back in this era. This is an absolutely beautiful and phenomenal figure, you guys. I really wish, you know, I wish everyone could have just been around and started collecting when these figures first started coming out, because there was just a certain grace that, you know, was put into these figures. I feel like I'm repeating myself on that a bit, but the Marvel Legends Juggernaut was one of the most beautiful figures ever made. And like I said, I absolutely miss interchangeable, not interchangeable, but like removable helmets. I think that was a nice touch that we don't get anymore. But yeah, the Marvel Legends Series 6 Toybiz Juggernaut is a beautiful figure. I do think the newer ones are superior, but I mean, God, man, it's just a beautiful figure. I'll never get tired of it. Put Sabertooth up there jumping. This is another one of the figures that I think trumps the newer Hasbro release. Now, I think it'll be based on just your preference, but this figure, I think, was just so underrated. The Omega, the Sentinel Series Omega, has a beautiful sculpt, an absolute amazing paint job, great articulation. I think it was one of the most phenomenal figures that Toybiz produced. And the newer Hasbro one, while it's amazing in itself, it's much more cleaner. This one is dirtier and just more nastier, and I love that very, very much. But the Hasbro figure is very, very nice too. But I still think this one's superior. We got that old school Carnage. Now this one is not actually the original Toybiz Carnage. This figure actually was originally released in the I want to say it was the Fearsome Foes Spider-Man box set, and it had like more black on the hands, but this was a re-release with the Spider-Man Hasbro line. And then we have the original Marvel Legends Toybiz Doctor Doom. I believe this one is from Series 4 or Series 2. Beautiful figure. Beautiful figure right there. Although definitely the newer one trumps it. This was also a very, very impressive figure. What was one of my favorites at the time. This was not a Marvel Legend. This was a Spider-Man Classics, I believe, Toybiz Venom. And this was an absolute phenomenal figure. Just has an amazing sculpt, an amazing paint job. The only thing that I didn't quite favor about this figure was that it has a giant button on the back. And, you know, it's for a gimmick, and usually you're okay with that, but it's this gigantic, ridiculously oversized button just so his mouth can move like about a centimeter, which really sucked. But yeah, this is a absolute phenomenal figure. Got the old lizard right there, Doc Ock, the classic Vulture. And then to top it off, we have probably and arguably the greatest thing to ever come out of Marvel Legends. Not quite, that's kind of a bold statement, but this, as we all know, is the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Sentinel, the Toybiz version. I think this is one of the most beautiful pieces to ever come from Marvel Legends. be it Hasbro or Toybiz or anything. I just think this is a work of art. It is an absolute masterpiece, and unfortunately, I used to own 4 of these guys. I wasn't able to get too crazy with, you know, army building these guys as like we saw some people on YouTube. I've saw some people on YouTube with like 20 and 30 of these guys. No idea how you could have done that. I was only able to get 4. I recently sold, not recently, but a while back I sold them all because of money, you know, times got hard, needed money. And I sold all 4 of them, and I just recently repurchased the Sentinel. I'm happy to have gotten him at a good price, and he's in very, very good condition. But yeah, guys, the Marvel Legends Toybiz Sentinel is one of the most beautiful things that have come out. And to answer a question I think you might have, yes, I am back for I am backing the HasLab Sentinel that's coming out soon. Whew, I think that might be one of the most spectacular things to come from Marvel Legends. But yeah, definitely going to be getting that. So alright, let's go ahead and take one last look. I'm going to be taking this down tonight. So by the time this video goes live, it'll probably be clear, and I'll be putting some other stuff up here. I like to change up my display every once in a while. You know, I like to just go ahead and see different things on the wall, whatever I'm in the mood for. And if I have time, then I'll go ahead and make a video and post it on YouTube for you guys, you know. And as we wrap it up here, I just want to go ahead and say that I really appreciate you guys checking out these videos. And as this was a kind of a tribute video to the collection that got me started with Marvel figures, I do kind of want to throw a small little shout out to some of the YouTubers that I can remember off the top of my head that really got the online movement of collecting and sharing videos online and doing all that and sharing your collections on YouTube and social media. The YouTubers that, you know, really, in my opinion, got that kick started. And some of those names are Boognice10, Shartimus Prime, there was Sentry Productions, Solid Snake in My Pants, Sean Long, J-Ran Nightmare, Ryan Riot, the late and wonderful Glenn Webb. We had Red Hulk 80, we had Hulk Smash Everything, we had KJ Hulk, and a plethora of other YouTubers. Those are the ones that just mainly come to my head right away. And I still check out you guys' videos from time to time. If any of you guys watch these videos, I still watch yours. And collecting has just been a beautiful thing for me that I'll never take for granted. So anyway, that being said, don't want to get too sentimental here. You know, we're talking about toys. We're here to have fun, aren't we? But I'll go ahead and let you guys go. Really appreciate you guys checking out this video. I know it's a little long, but hey, I like to indulge in the things that I like. So what can I say? Thank you very much, you guys. Be safe out there. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.